Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, hi again. This is my channel. I love doing all kinds of DIY home decors. I love doing thrift flips. I also absolutely love to make wreaths. I do it for every holiday occasion and also seasonal. I also have my own wreath shop. It's an Etsy shop. It's called KristaWreathDesigns. I will have that link down below as well. But if you like what you see, you know what to do. Hit that red subscribe button. Leave me a comment because I love to hear what you guys think. You can also follow me on Instagram and Pinterest. And like I said, I have an Etsy shop. So if you want to go check out some of my wreath designs, go check them out. I will have the link down below. Today is all about 5 under $5. Our hosts are Missy and Emily, and our guest is Ellie. So I will get into more of that in a minute, but first let's get into our first DIY. So the first DIY, I used 2 of these heart tinsels that you can get at the Dollar Tree. And what I did is I took all the tinsel off. Now, I did this last year, so I had this already, and I wanted to refresh it with some new flowers. So what I did is I took some of my chalk paint and I just kind of dabbed the areas where some of the paint chipped off. Now, this was originally spray painted, so you can do that as well. But once you take all the tinsel off, that's what you're left with is like this little frame, heart frame. And I'm taking 2 of them because we're going to zip tie them together, and you're going to see in a minute what I'm going to be making. But I just wanted to show you, you could use stuff from the previous years and you can refresh them, make them new again. And that's what I did. So instead of me going out and buying more, I already had these. So I said, let me refresh it and do something a little different. So what I did is I took some floral foam and I just zip tied it to the inside of one of the hearts. So like I said, we're going to zip tie these together, but after I zip tie the foam down, we're going to take some florals that I also had in my stash from last year, and they're just some spring florals, but I'm going to make this look a little bit Valentine-y. So what I did is I took one of these picks that I got last year. I think it was a quarter. It was after the season was over, and it was just left over. It had this little butterfly, and I thought it was so pretty. And so I used that. And then what I did is after I put these 2 together, I used 4 zip ties, 1 for the top of the heart, 1 for the bottom of the heart, and then of course both sides of the heart. And that keeps it together really, really nice and keeps it secure. It won't open or anything. And these frames are plastic, so they're very, durable. Nothing's going to happen to them. So once I get them very fastened, I'm going to stick in some of the florals. And I use peonies. I don't know if I'm saying these flowers right because I'm not really good with names of flowers. But I used some peonies. I also used, actually, I didn't use the peonies. You see me come in. I ended up using roses. I was going to use the peonies, but I didn't like the way they looked. So I ended up using some pink roses. And then I also used the leaves that are on some leftover bushes that I had, and I put those on the outside. Oh, and I also used one of these ribbons and it's all it is it's a leaf ribbon, and it's wire. And what you do is you could get these at Hobby Lobby, and I got a whole bunch of them last year, and I use them a lot. And all I did was feed it through the inside, and I just kept wrapping it around the whole heart. And it just made it look really, really nice. Look how pretty that is. I just love it. Oh, and then I also took some green eucalyptus sprigs that I had, and I stuck those on each side as well. And I should have put those in first, but I didn't because I realized I wanted to use them after. And then I took some of these really pretty roses from the Dollar Tree, and I just stuck those in the front and all the way around because you don't want to see the floral foam, of course. And I did stick, like I said, some of the leaves that I had left over from other bushes that I've used where I just used the flowers, and I stuck that on the back so you couldn't see the floral foam, and the leaves kind of covered that part up. And this is really all I did. So I basically took something that I made last year and I just repurposed it. And this is a great way to go cheap and to make it something for every, decor. Like I could switch these roses out and put in spring or summer and make it summery or spring. So here is the close-up. This barely costed me anything, but like I said, it's under $5. So we're showing you 5 of our DIYs, and they're all under $5. And there's Crafty Co, Farm Chic, and also there's Emily, who is our co-host today. So make sure you go check them out. I will have the links to everybody's channels down below. So next, I took one of these hearts from the Dollar Tree as well, and I'm just taking the little planks off the back, the little wood pieces. I'm just going to, they broke, so I wanted to take it apart because it would be easier, because I'm using one of those calendars from last year. I'm using a picture from in the calendar. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to Mod Podge that on here. And because it's in different pieces and it's going to be separated, it's just going to be a lot easier for me to trace it out on the paper and then put it on to the wood. So that's what I did. And so that's why I took off those little wood pieces in the back holding it together. But don't worry, we're just going to use regular size popsicle sticks. You could get them at the Dollar Tree too. And we're just going to put them back on the back to hold it together. So what I did is I traced with my pencil, and there's little slats in the middle, but I made my little slats a little bit smaller because I didn't want them that spaced. So you can also make this how you want. So basically you don't have to have it that far apart or that many inches apart from each other. So what I did is I did take some Steel Paint by Waverly. It's a gray paint, and I just did the edges because I just want to make sure, because this whole heart did not fit onto the wood. So what I did is the calendar part. So what I did is I just did some gray on the outside, but I'm also going to use a trim, which you're going to see in a minute as well. So I used the Steel Paint by Waverly. Now I'm using Elephant Gray by Waverly, and that is going to be for our popsicle sticks because you will see some of it sticking out from the other side. So I did coat those really well, and this is the trim I used. This is actually Christmas trim that was out during Christmas time at the Dollar Tree, and I had this left over, so I decided to use it. So what I did is I just went around the edges and with a little bit of glue, hot glue, and I just pushed it down and went around all of the edges of the heart. And very simple, and this came out so cute. And I just kind of thought of this as I went along. I really didn't have a plan for this because I was trying to figure out how I could cover up, because the heart didn't perfectly fit on the wood. So see how you can just make things and figure something else out and make it still look great. So that's what I did, and it worked out, and it turned out really, really cute, and I love it. And I'm loving this vintage, shabby chic look for Valentine's Day. My house is mainly decorated, in my kitchen area is black and red because I love that, and a lot of buffalo check. And I wanted to go a little shabby chic in my living room, so that's what I did. That's where I came up with these DIYs. So this is that little shabby chic. I like to do a little bit of everything because everybody's taste is different, and I know you guys like to see a variety. So that's what I try to do. So what I did there is I just dry brushed some white Waverly chalk paint on those popsicle sticks, and just made them look a little bit more rustic. And now I'm just going to stick them on the back of my hearts. And this is what's going to hold it together again. So very simple. Not hard, this DIY, super cheap. The Dollar Tree sign was only $1. I already had the calendar from last year. Everything else was in my stash. So it basically cost me $1. So, it worked out really well for me. And I'm trying to really use up a lot of my things that are in my stash. So yeah, because I have way too much stuff. Let's face it, us crafters, we hoard stuff. So then I had these beads that I bought a long time ago as well from Hobby Lobby when they were like 50% off, and they're already whitewashed. And so I thought these would be really nice. There was a big one in like a medium size and a smaller one, so I just kind of alternated, and I made a little hanger for it with my string. That's it. All done, you guys, and I think it turned out super cute. You'll have to let me know which one you like the best in the comments below. And on to DIY number 3. This one was my by far favorite because I love doing this type of DIYs. I took 2 papers from Hobby Lobby that I had in my stash. They're just scrapbook paper, and I just kind of rubbed my finger along the edge of a heart that I had that was $1 as well. And it's just a wooden heart. It's a little bit smaller than the ones from the Dollar Tree though. I believe I got this one at Dollar General. And what I did is I only wanted to do half the heart with this really pretty paper from Hobby Lobby, and then this other paper that I had in my stash. I use this a lot on DIYs like this because it's got a lot of texture, that scrapbook paper. It's kind of like a crinkly look, like you crumbled up the paper, and I love it. And then I had these, I used to do scrapbooking, so I have a lot of scrapbooking supplies, and I'm trying to use them up in my DIYs. So these are like little laser cut pieces that are made like with this soft like cardboard. And I took out the little lock with the key, and then I found I had a little tiny metal key in my stash. So I used that, and I just tied it to it. And then I took all of these flowers that I got. They are like Prima flowers, very expensive flowers, but I had them in my stash from scrapbooking, and I got them at Hobby Lobby when there was an orange sticker sale like maybe 3 years ago, and I got to use them in this DIY. So super fun. I loved doing this. And I had a little butterfly that was so pretty that was also from Prima. If you don't know, Prima is a marketing company. They sell all kinds of really cool products like flowers like this and stuff, and a lot of scrapbooking supplies. And I used their stuff a lot when I used to scrapbook. So this one was super fun because I got to go back to my scrapbooking days. So what I did is I just took some Mod Podge and I spread that all over my heart, and then I came in and I put down that little scrapbook piece that has that texture on it, and I rubbed that down really good because you know it had texture, and I want to make sure it stays stuck down. So I had my little roller out for my Mod Podge, and once I got that stuck down, then I did the other side with the other piece of scrapbook paper. And then like I showed you earlier in the clip, you saw I had all those flowers kind of coming down in that diagonally the way I made the paper, and it just looks so pretty, and I love this. And this was so much fun. So if you ever see these flowers, they're in the scrapbooking section of Hobby Lobby, and sometimes you can find them orange stickered. You can use these on your DIYs, guys. And you can also find flowers like this in the his and her section also at Hobby Lobby. So, and they're 50% off quite a bit and orange stickered. So check it out sometime. So then I took one of these little love laser cut die pieces, and I distressed it with some of my Distress Oxide. This is called Vintage. It's like a stamp pad, but it's Distress Oxide. And you just take my little spongy tool that I have, and I just kind of like brush. It's kind of like dry brushing, only it's stamp pad. It's really simple. And you just dry brush, sponge kind of lightly on everything. And it kind of like makes it more distinctive, more vibrant. You could see it better. It gives it a little vintage look to it. And that's what I love. And it just adds more textures to your project. And that's what I love about these, about using that Distress Oxide. And now I'm just going to take my flowers and arrange them the way I want. And like I said, some of these flowers were like $1/4 for a bag of them. And then some were like really cheap. I mean, I got them really cheap. And then what I did is I just glued everything down the way I wanted it to be placed on my heart, on my project. And this came out so lovely and so pretty. And yeah, So the white flowers that you see on there, I think I got those in the his and her section, and they do have a little like lace on them, but you can't tell from the video. I wish you guys could, but you really can't tell. But they're super pretty as well. So check the his and her section. Always check the scrapbooking section. You never know what finds you can find, good finds you could find at Hobby Lobby. And then, like I said, I'm going to stick that butterfly up there. And then those little laser cut pieces, I had some, they look like leaves. I'm going to stick those and have those coming out from the flowers a little bit. And you just make your own little, it's kind of like your own blank canvas. And you just kind of make it look pretty and beautiful and delicate and vintage looking and shabby chic. And that's what I did. And then I just glued down my little love. And those you get like 4 in a pack from the Dollar Tree. They've had those way back. They had those. I don't even know if they carry them anymore. But I knew they do have still some of the words out. And then I just stuck in a couple of these little laser cut like leaves that look like leaves and vines, whatever you want to call them. And I just stuck them, you know, wherever I thought it needed a little something. And that was it for this DIY. And I think this turned out so cute. But you guys really have to let me know what you think. But this one is my favorite. I just think it turns out so beautiful. And here's a close-up of that as well. And you can see the flowers a little bit better. Aren't they so pretty? They're so pretty. So on to DIY number 4. This one's super simple too, and easy and cheap. I took this XOXO sign from the Dollar Tree. I also took some of those flowers again, so I'm getting my 2 for 1 here. And I took some of this pink, it's like a, I believe it's called Pink Rose. It's by Folk Art, and that's what I painted it with. I think that pink is so pretty and so like shabby chic looking. I don't know, I just love it. And I took out like whatever flowers I could find in the packages that I had. I took out the pink. I took out some that had little flowers on the flowers. It was really pretty stuff with little pearls, little rhinestones in the middle, all kinds of things. And I put them around my O's of my XOXO. And I just made it like go all the way around my O's. And I thought this was a really cute idea, and it was super pretty to do and super fun too. So I just placed my flowers wherever I thought I wanted something, and kind of made it look, you know, shabby chic. And then I have that pad that you see on the side. They're little like pearls I got you, and they're kind of like stuck together in a line. Like you could take the whole thing off and like put it around a glass candle vase or a vase or whatever, or you could cut them into strips, or you could just take a couple off if you just want to use a few of them. But what I did is I cut them in strips, which you'll see in a second once I rearrange all these flowers. And then once I got the flowers where I wanted them, the places where I want them, then I just glued them all down with hot glue. But I didn't show you all that because that would just be ridiculous, and I don't want to have you guys here all day. So yeah, like I said, I just took this strip. Now these are from the Dollar Tree. I had these in my stash too. I buy these whenever I see them because I use them a lot. And I'm going to take it in strips, and I'm just going to put them on my X. So these you can, you know, curve them. You can make them go on anything you want, put them any way you want. That's what I really, really like about these pearls. So I just kind of stuck them in and just kind of went around the X and kind of like did like a inside outline look. And I did it on both of the X's, the large one and the small one. And it gave it a little bit more of that shabby chic look. And this turned out really cute too, you guys. But you have to let me know what you think. That's all I did for this one. And it was super simple. I mean, if you think about it. And I already had most of the stuff on hand. The only thing that I bought was the XOXO sign. So, yeah, that was it. I mean, all this other stuff I already had for like years. So like I said, always go in your stash because you really don't have to spend a lot to make things. Because we forget about the things we have, and, you know, and then when you go through your stuff, you're like, oh my God, I forgot I had this. And oh my God, I had this. I've been looking for something like this. So just all kinds of things I find in my stash all the time. And it's like, I have to stop buying it and just start, using the stuff I have and make things. And I love doing that too, because I'm, saving money, and I'm also, getting rid of the stuff I have, because I just have way too much. I don't know about you guys, but my craft room is a disaster, and I always have to clean it. At least once a month, I go in there and just keep cleaning it out, because I just keep piling the stuff up. So there it is, you guys. I hope you guys like it. There's a little bit close-up of those flowers. They're so pretty, you guys. And now the last DIY, we are on DIY number 5. This one, I absolutely love the way this one turned out too. I'm sorry, I'm saying that about all of them, but I really do love them. So I have these solo wood flowers that I had left over for a long time. And I also used some ribbon that I had on stitch. So I got the heart from the Dollar Tree. It's just one of the bigger wooden hearts. And I also got that scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. And everything else I had in my stash again. And I just traced an outline of the heart on the back of the scrapbook paper, and then I cut it out. And this scrapbook paper is super pretty. It's just got all this cursive writing on it. It's just super fancy, and I thought this would go well with the theme that I was going with today. And I just put my Mod Podge down. I mean, you can use glue sticks if you want. I know a lot of people like glue sticks more than Mod Podge, but I just use the Mod Podge. Sometimes I use the glue stick. It just depends on the project, I guess. But I wanted these to really stay on well and last a long time, so that's why I used the Mod Podge. And then what I did is I just stuck it down. Super simple. And then I came in with my solo wood flowers, and I wanted to go on this side, so I just started gluing them down the way I wanted them. And I bought this package like, oh my gosh, 2 years ago, I think. And I really like solo wood flowers. They're super pretty and super fun to use. And they come in so many different colors, and you can actually paint them too. But yeah, I can leave you a link to them, but I haven't bought any in so long. So but yeah, they're super cool to use too. And they're not real expensive either. And a lot of times they have quite a few sales, but I haven't gotten much about solo wood lately. Probably because I haven't bought recently. But yeah, they're super fun to work with. And they have really pretty colors and stuff. And this kind of went with that theme I was going with. So I went with these flowers because they were pretty neutral. And I just went kind of up the side of the heart, and I just glued them all down. Really simple. And then I made a bow previously. I didn't show you guys how I made the bow, because it's just make a bow any way you want to make the bow, because everybody makes bows so differently. And I just tied all these really cool looking ribbons and lacy ribbons that I had and burlap ribbon that I had in my stash, and I just kind of zip tied them all together. And then I took some pieces out that I wanted to use that were lace, and I'm just going to glue them on the bottom part of my bow. And I just like the lace, I just kind of glued them on there because I'm going to stick a couple flowers in the middle, and you're not going to see that I glued them on. And because I kind of wanted them in a certain spot, and it was just easier. So I just glued them on there, and then I used some more Dollar Tree ribbon. This was all like Dollar Tree ribbon I've had in my stash for a long time. You can use any ribbon you want, any colors you want. I mean, there's so many things you can do. And then I just took 2 of the solo wood flowers, and I glued them in the center of my bow. And then what I did is I took some really pretty lace ribbon that I had from a long time ago. Like, this is all stuff from my stash, guys. So I'm telling you, go through your stash. And isn't that pretty? Look how pretty that looks. I love it. And then I just took this really lacy, pretty, delicate ribbon that I had, and I just made a little hanger for it. And I just kind of glued a little bead of glue on the back and just kind of stuck it down. And that was it, because this is really light, so it didn't have to be extra secure. Because it weighs like nothing to hang. So, and that was it, you guys. So that's the last DIY. I hope you guys like them. Don't forget to check out everybody. There is a playlist down below. And don't forget to check out the ladies who are hosting and co-hosting. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, remember, stay crafty. Bye.